You want to text individually each time it's going to snow?
Yes, I want a personalized weather report every single time. I feel as though I deserve that. As much as I give to this relationship, you can't do that. That's the least you could do.
Oh, is it, Felicia?
I
sending her a text.
It's like the old married couples fighting. I was like, I'm just going to keep reading what I'm reading.
Snow or it's cold outside because it's already happened. The text is coming in late, John. I want the text to come in on time. If you're going to send snow and it's cold, you're too late.
All right. Well, it's going to snow tomorrow. Be aware. We'll get more of that in a little bit.
Okay, Felicia, I'm going to quiz you later on what John says tonight about the weather and see if you're paying attention.
Thank you.
I still got nothing. Look, his service doesn't even work. It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're about to get fired in 2 seconds. Fired for being work hubby.
Okay.
He's like, please sign me up. Okay, let's get into it.
Story.
Okay. Let's get into it. A forced change of heart for the Dallas Mavericks. The national anthem will be played before tonight's basketball game. The NBA made clear it stands on the national anthem, causing Mavericks owner Mark Cuban to about face on his decision to no longer play the Star Spangled Banner. So here's what Cuban had to say, in part that he respects people's passion for the anthem in our country, but he says, we also hear the voices of those who do not feel the anthem represents them. We feel they also need to be respected and heard because they have not been heard. A lot of people chiming in on this. This anthem debate has been big for the last few years. Here's one Twitter user saying playing the national anthem at games is so important that they didn't realize when it wasn't being played at one arena for a quarter of this season. LOL. So mixed feelings that's going on here, okay? Why do you guys think this is such a big deal? And do we even really need it to be played at games? It's not like we do it every day going to work or it's a huge part of our day-to-day life.
Well, I think it's telling that, it didn't play for 13 games and nobody seemed to blink an eye. No one noticed at all. So maybe that speaks to how important is the national anthem really? Is anybody actually paying attention? For many, it's a fake show of patriotism. It's a forced show of patriotism. And that third verse for many is hypocritical and tone deaf at best. So maybe it's time to re-examine. Maybe if you play the national anthem less, maybe it means more after that. And if we're also honest here, is the national anthem even good? Like, it doesn't even slap. It doesn't got a good beat. It doesn't have a rhythm to it. You can find a new one, right?
So I will admit this. I was a little confused in the beginning. I was reading, I'm like, I didn't really get the whole purpose behind it. I know Mark Cuban, after Colin Kaepernick said he wasn't going to play the national anthem, and then he said he was going to play it. He hopes that people who respect it respect as much as the people who are kneeling. So I was a little confused by the message that was going out there. I don't disagree about the necessity to play it, but I also don't understand the history behind a lot of it. So I think that's where we all need to be educated in this matter to see, what side of the coin you fall on. But to me, it's not like, I don't know. It's not one of those issues I'm going to die on that hill.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, it's not make or break for me, but I will be the first to admit, look, I go to every Blackhawks game there is, working at them, and one of the biggest things is the national anthem and everybody cheering through it, and it's this big hype moment. And I think there is a lot of patriotism legitimately there, but Brandon, you brought up the idea of fake patriotism or forced patriotism. Is that part of the equation too? I guess I land is whatever the team wants to do, it makes sense, right? Like, if they want to play it before every game, that's cool. If you want to stand up and cheer, great, but you don't have to. And certainly that has taken on its own life, its own. But then again, you get a lot of people looking at you if you don't do what everyone else is doing. So is that putting a bunch of other people in awkward positions? Maybe so. And I don't hate what you're saying there, Brandon, that the less you play it, maybe the more relevance it takes on.
So I'm one of those people that feels like Yeah. Well, I'm one of those people that feels like the national anthem does not represent them because of the third stanza and the racist meaning behind the third stanza. You got to look it up. We've continuously talked about this to you guys. I think America the Beautiful would be such a much better song. And, even the Black national anthem, we could also take Black off and make it the national anthem. It's about the words and the meaning of the song and inclusivity and being able to bring Americans together, all Americans together. I think America the Beautiful or the Black national anthem would make a much better song.
That's an idea right there, because the Black national anthem slaps. Okay, God Save the Queen, that slaps. I love God Save the Queen. I love the Black national anthem, but our national anthem just a snore. Like, oh my gosh.
Okay. I got a question for you, Brandon.
Beat.
Are you
a better beat?
Are you?
They
were
kneeling because they were tired.
Are you peeved that the NBA told the Dallas Mavericks what to do?
I think the NBA is at a tough spot here, right? I think the NBA is in position and was in position and probably will be the first league, if this ever happens, to eliminate the national anthem requirement altogether. They're the most progressive of the sports leagues, but I'm sure that office is going crazy today because this was just kind of sprung on them and they weren't prepared. For this,
And I actually would be pissed if I was Mark Cuban and be like, listen, this is my team. I'm going to decide how this goes. I don't think it needs to be a league requirement. And if you don't like it, don't watch them or don't attend their games and don't support them. You have a decision. It's a business still.
Yeah. The most important thing, what Mark Cuban said, he gave the reason why he chose not to have the song, because he wanted to listen to the people who don't feel represented. So the most important thing, I feel like what Mark Cuban was saying is that we're listening to each other as Americans and we're finding ways that we can be more inclusive and heal some of the old wounds of the past. That's what's not happening currently on each side of people just yelling at each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the whole reason why this was a thing was because Colin Kaepernick, right? And I think back to when I was in elementary school and they made you read the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you learned about the 1800s and the 1700s, and it felt backwards, right? So it's worth examining for sure.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, the national anthem is not like it's been played at every sports game since the beginning of time. Right. It's a fairly new thing. Even in the 70s and 80s, the Cubs were debating whether they should play it before every game. People think of it as like part of our nation's history that we always do it. Nah, it's rather new invention. Anyways, moving on. Gorilla Glue Girl Watch. It continues. The woman who we've been talking about who sprayed permanent adhesive in her hair, which leaves it just like that. She can't get it out, but there's a surgeon that thinks that they can help her, and he has tweeted out that he's excited to help her. It's a 3-day procedure, supposedly. So best wishes. She's raised some money, too, like $13,000 on GoFundMe to help pay for it. That's great. And look, a lot of people are coming to this woman's defense. There's a tweet here showing that, like, how closely compared these products are between using your hair or don't. You can eat this, honey, but you can't eat this one. Blah, blah, blah. And I think that that's a really good point. I'm honestly surprised that mistakes like this don't happen more often.
Really? I mean, so this is a huge lapse in judgment, but we all have lapse in judgment. I actually have sympathy. When I first heard the story, yes, I chuckled a bit, but I do have sympathy for the girl because at this point, regardless of what she did, she needs help. She is having a tough time. She does not know what the future of her head looks like. That's an issue. I think a little bit more sympathy. I'm glad to see the doctor reach out. I think Gorilla Glue could have done a little bit better a job reaching out. I think right now they're just trying to avoid a lawsuit,
Yeah, no, they can't do too much. Otherwise, they are admitting guilt or fault in this case. So I think what they did is what they could do. In the beginning, I was like, how did she possibly do that? But then I thought about all the stuff that I buy on Amazon. I don't actually go to a store for, because if I went to a store, it's going to be in the hair care aisle. If I buy it on Amazon, it's going to be whatever I search up. And so maybe you don't know. Maybe you throw it in your cart. Maybe you order it and you just use it without checking it out when it gets to your house. So it made me kind of sit back and reflect, and maybe I should have a little bit more sympathy for this poor woman.
Well, right. And also, I think a lot of us have seen the Gorilla Glue commercials where they spray it on the bottom of a canoe that has a hole in it and it floats in the water. Maybe she hasn't seen that, right? Whatever the case may be. Whatever.
Oh, okay. No, that's Flex and Seal.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't think
watch too much TV.
Well, don't use Flex and Seal to whack yourself, anyone.
Yeah.
But I guess the point is that she may not have seen all the advertisement that all the rest of us have seen about this, and let's forgive her a little bit. A little grace.
There was a lapse in judgment. I will say this has opened up a deeper conversation, particularly regarding a lot of women of color, just because we feel the pressure to fit into the norm and for our hair to fit into the societal norms of being able to slick it back and making it lay flat and lay straight when our hair just doesn't do that naturally, clearly. And so that's also kind of where this stems from. Maybe if there wasn't those societal pressures or those norms, we have to do that. She might not be in this predicament if we didn't have that deeper conversation there. Just wanted
Very
to share
true, Felicia. Very true. Hey, before we get out of this block, we're going to talk a little bit about a very interesting, speaking of hair, in time for President's Day, you could be the proud owner of George Washington's hair. The white locks are part of some 300 presidential artifacts hitting the auction block starting tomorrow. JFK's Harvard sweater, the pen Warren Harding used to end U.S. involvement in World War I are also all being auctioned off. That's just weird. Who wants to own somebody else's dead guy's hair?
I want it all. I want it all. I want every single piece. If it's touched the president,
sweater
I don't want it. No, I don't care what part of the body it touched. I want every presidential memorabilia I can get. Yeah, I think it's cool. I love it. I was the kid who, when I went to Mount Vernon for the first time in 8th grade on the field trip, I stared outside the mausoleum where George and Martha are buried. Oh my God, his bones are in there. It's so crazy, So I'm here for it. Now I don't have the money for any of this, but I want.
Right. Yeah. I can appreciate your love of history, John. I have no desire to own a slave owner's hair. I just don't.
That's a fair point. Yes. And now, wow, you put me in my place. Point. Okay. Well, you make me look like a jerk. Brandon, what's up?
This is a show about perspective.
I literally said, wow, that was a door closer right there. All right. Well, hey, guys, another day, another celebrity getting social media backlash. When we return, find out why fans are calling for a Star Wars actress to get the boot. Krista Green, of course, is always on social media. You've seen people getting canceled left and right, of course. How you doing?
Cancel culture is the worst, Brandon. Yeah. But we're not canceling this next guy. We've got an NBA star and Olympic athlete, and he's going to be chatting with us about how he changed the game forever as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, everybody.
Boop, 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 boop. What you said?
All right, the news you need to know. The Chicago Teachers Union and CPS have reached a deal to get back to school. In-person classes are set to resume tomorrow. Chicago indoor dining expands to 25% capacity or 50 people per floor tomorrow as well. Never before seen footage was presented today at the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. It showed former Vice President Pence and fellow lawmakers darting to safety as the domestic terrorists stormed the Capitol building. Brandon.
And Mandalorian star Gina Carano, who is also set to lead her own Star Wars spinoff show, shared some posts comparing modern-day Republicans to the Jews during the Holocaust. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Check this out. She said, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Well, the hashtag Fire Gina Carano quickly trended on social media. She's been in hot water before for sharing anti-masking memes and transphobic posts making fun of gender pronouns. Now, people want Disney to take action against her and get her off the show on all Star Wars projects. Amy, you watched this show. What are your thoughts about this?
You know, at first I was like, I saw this, I was like, Jesus, she's doing it again. Because I feel like the last round that was bad, people corrected her, and she literally went back out and said, I was wrong, and she adjusted a couple of things. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but at least it was like, okay, a teachable moment. But like, come on, lady, learn or shut up or something. I really enjoy her on The Mandalorian, but now I can't like her anymore, and it makes me angry.
John had the best response. He was like, oh, Lord, here we go again.
Right?
You know, when we come to this, people are going to believe what they want to believe. I think the lesson here is that you don't have to share everything on social media. And clearly she's choosing like the most, noteworthy topics that are really, really sensitive that she wants to go back and forth with people. We call that a contrarian. We have a few of those people on this show. Leave that there. But all press is good press. No, that's not 100% true. I think this is a perfect example because this could end up costing you a career. Not all press is good press.
You shouldn't make any comparisons to Hitler and Jewish people in the 1930s. Just don't even touch it. Like, you're not going to be right. And by the way, that goes for both sides of the aisle. I always hated when people would compare Trump to Hitler. I mean, like, look, you could maybe draw a few like allusions if you wanted to and cherry pick. History is different, right? Each circumstance is different. Compare the today to the today, the yesteryears to the yesteryears, can leave them there, learn from them, but like they're impossible to make those comparisons.
Yeah, and it gets down to this issue of cancel culture, a word that I hate. I don't think anyone really gets canceled. I think Gina Carano is kind of an example of that. This has happened before, and it's a pattern, right? And nothing's happened, right? And I still think, is there room for redemption there? Obviously, if someone can get to her and talk to her, that would be great. But this is not a good look for Star Wars or Disney.
Because you're right, Brandon. If she uses her platform for good, it's wonderful. So maybe that's a teachable moment, but it's word horrible vomit.
Yes, it was. Here's some more. The weather forecast is a word vomit, just cold, snowy, and wind chills continue to be really cold. And look at those temperatures on Saturday plummeting once again. This forecast brought to you by 3-Day Blinds. You'll love the treatment, even if you don't love the 3-day forecast. And we'll be back.
Hey guys, getting a can of soup like this may seem like a simple thing for most people, but not for every family in Chicago. CW26, The U, MeTV FM, and Beam Legal are partnering with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and together we are all trying to change that. The goal is to donate $15,000 in meals. All you have to do is text CW26 to 41444. Or go to cw26chicago.com to donate. We're accepting donations now until Friday, February 19th. You can be a part of helping end hunger. Let's feed Chicago.
All right, he's a legend in his own right, but really more than that, a trailblazer for future athletes. Spencer Haywood joining us. Hall of Famer, All-Star, many other things. Spencer, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Your story is, it's really incredible on an individual level. I mean, you were born in Mississippi. You were the breadwinner of your family.
Think about my life. I mean, I came out of indentured slavery. I ended up getting adopted by a family in Detroit, raised. I ended up being the only freshman to ever play in the Olympics and win a gold medal. And then the following year, I met the Supreme Court fighting for players' rights, and I changed the game. So it ain't me, it's God, man. This is way beyond me.
Yeah, and you mentioned the book, the Spencer Haywood Rule, Battles, Basketball, the Making of an American Iconoclast. And you don't shy away from people should know the rule change through the Supreme Court, the 7-2 ruling that did not require athletes to spend 4 years out of high school before they could be drafted. I mean, you want people to know that that's a Spencer Haywood rule because it paved the way.
Yeah, it did. And by that, I mean, when I fought the case, before I came along, you had to wait for 4 years after your high school class had graduated before you could go into the NBA or the ABA or wherever. And I fought for the rights for players to come into the league when they were qualified, thus meaning you could come in after high school or 1 year, 2 year, and we gave I guess it was a 3-year man to Chicago by the name of Michael Jordan.
I've heard of him, yes.
He's under the ruling. And so what has happened over the years is because I fought the case, and usually when you do revolutionary things, they don't give you the credit. And so what happened, it was called the early entry, it was called the hardship, it was called one and done, but the rule in itself is Haywood versus the NBA. That is the Supreme Court rule. So it's the Spencer Haywood rule. But we are fighting now through this Black History Month to get the renaming.
In 1968, Mexico City, in the height of the civil rights movement, I mean, it's an Olympic game best remembered for a fist in the air.
Black people in America thought we were doing a horrible thing going to represent our country there. And so they put on the glove after they won their race, and lo and behold, they kicked them out of the Olympic Village, and they put a bounty on me and all the other players, saying, if you do anything, you even talk to the press, you do anything, you're out of here. And we was like, hey, man, calm down. Tommy and John didn't do anything that bad. They were just saluting the brothers back home.
Oh, fascinating conversation with Spencer Haywood. That's just scratching the surface. Get the book wherever you can, The Spencer Haywood Rule. It's great. And we just want to thank Beam Legal and Foreman Mills and all of our great sponsors that have been helping us out with our coverage of Black History Month. Felicia.
Yes, we sure do. And we're going to have a little bit of fun right now because who said Black History Month has to be a snooze fest? Because it doesn't. So let's get into it. We got a game, okay? We're going to read a famous quote. You got to guess who said it, okay? So let's go ahead with our first quote. Okay, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repaired. Who said it? A, B, C, who you got? Who you got? A, B, C, James Baldwin, Amanda Gorman, or Martin Luther King Jr.? Well, how about Day? Amy, come on.
CBB.
Okay, the answer is B, Amanda Gorman. She just said this at the inauguration. Yeah, literally just did it. Let's get the next one up. I fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I fought against transnational gangs. I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one. Vice President Kamala Harris, John Lewis, Elijah Cummings. Who you got? Who you got? Okay, A, we got a B. It is Kamala Harris.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll have to do some more questions later. That was fun.
Armada.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some in a little later.
Well, we are at the hump moment on hump day here in this show, halfway through. So we are officially over our own hump, which is very exciting. This is the Jam, John, Amy, Felicia. We're rocking and roaring.
Oh, we're having a humping good time.
How
many times can you say hump,
humping.
John?
Keep going,
Well, this
Felicia.
leads into Valentine's Day perfectly. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, well, ooh la la, love is in the air, and unfortunately, so is coronavirus. Nightlife workers in Lakeview, though, are hoping to brighten the spirits and show some love to LGBTQ seniors with some handmade Valentines. Several restaurants in the area have supplies on hand so you can make a card while dining out. A lot of the restaurants on North Halsted, like Progress Bar and Sidetrack. Really cute, really sweet. And many of us, myself included, have been locked in the house with our spouses for a year. A year. And for even the happiest of couples, that's a lot of time together. And now the most romantic day of the year is nipping at our heels. And who really feels like doing it? Like, it's already been a lot. And now it's like, okay, do more. So how do you celebrate when half the time they're stressing you the hell out?
I will say this, at least here, I'm lucky because my husband was just out of town for work for a few days. So like we got a little space. But at the same time, I also said, let's just forget Valentine's Day this year. I don't care. Like, I don't want the chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't want the wine. I don't want the calories, a nice card. But other than that, it's going to be like every other day, right?
Yeah, I
I
know.
want all of
Last year was on a Friday, and we went to the gym for a partner workout, and then I did my taxes. So that was our Valentine's Day. This year, I think we're gonna get this year, I think I'm at least gonna try and order like a heart-shaped pizza from our favorite spot to do something. But that just isn't our vibe. And you're right. Like, oh my gosh, we've been together almost every waking hour for 365 days. I love you. But we don't need to do anything that special. It's hard, Felicia. You guys are going to do something special?
He's trying to make sure he really heard that. No, we've been together for a few years now. So I don't feel the pressure to do it. I mean, we do awesome things, kind of filter throughout the year anyway. But I do think it's nice to mark the day with a little something, something. It doesn't have to be huge. I like your heart pizza, John. I like just a card or some candy or a glass of wine. It doesn't have to be everything that works, a little something, something.
Right.
And so, what about, kids, they're not going to have their Valentine's Day in school. What are you doing, Amy?
So we have a wonderful mom in our class, our boys' class, who actually allowed us to drop off Valentine's in her mailbox. And she's putting individual bags that she delivered to school that the kids get so that they have all the Valentine's in them. And then for the twins, it's a little bit different. They are going to have like a mini Valentine's Day party. But I did get stuff for the boys because they love stuffed animals still, and to be honest, they're my real Valentines I snuggle with most of the time. So
I have a sweet story. Get your tissues ready. I'll make it really quick. My father passed when I was 11, and we used to come home every Valentine's Day, and there'd be like a little Valentine's Day gift on each of our beds. My bed, Patrick, my brother's bed, and my mom's bed. Each would have, and he probably bought it off the street on 95th and Stony Island from a street vendor. But nonetheless, he thought about us, and that's just a really sweet memory I have of my dad.
I love that. That is super sweet.
It doesn't have to be big, it's just a thought.
Yeah, that is.
It
true.
is just a thought. I love that.
Thanks for sharing
That's
that,
so
pal.
sweet.
That was sweet.
Felicia. Well, if you don't feel like braving the hawk to go out for a Valentine's Day celebration this year, celebrate at home like a pro. Probably a little safer. Here to give us tips on the best wine and food combos is Regine Rousseau from Shall We Wine. And you've got a number of bottles to pair with different meals. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am super excited because I brought you 5 wines and they're all under $25. So you can celebrate with some deliciousness. Can I just get started?
Go for it. Jump right in.
Awesome. Okay, so bubbles. Everyone wants bubbles on Valentine's Day, and you don't have to spend a lot. These are both Crémant d'Alsace, so sparkling wines from Alsace. The first one is the Saint Remy. It's 100% Chardonnay. What does that mean to you? What that means is this wine is going to be fresh. It's elegant. It pairs really well with fried foods. If you want to do dessert, I recommend something that's not too sweet, or something rich like a cheesecake would be really nice with this one. The second one I have is a rosé. I love a sparkling rosé. all the time, but especially on Valentine's Day. This is the Dolph Anyone, also from Alsace. This is 100% Pinot Noir, so it's going to have more fruit to it, more body. This is beautiful, beautiful with sushi. I like it even with ribs. If you want to do dessert, I suggest a strawberries or strawberries and cream would be really lovely with this. All right, let's talk about your main meals. I picked two wines for you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned dessert, because I always get confused about wine and dessert, because it's like, well, one's sweet and that's sweet too. I never know how to pair the two.
Great question. So you want your wines to be sweeter than your dessert, okay? Because if the dessert is sweeter, the wine it'll pull the sugar from the wine, so it will taste bitter. So one of the perfect combinations of the food and wine is dessert wine with desserts, and we're going to talk about that. I have here the Black Noble. It's a port, and it's perfect with, these are chocolate brownies. This is an espresso coffee cake from Coffee Girls, perfect with dessert wine. So that's how you want to pair it, okay?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your main meal. So this is a Gruner Veltliner. It's a grape from Austria. I'm a huge fan. This producer is Leumer Louise. I love this for my vegetarian friends. I love this with bitter greens, with asparagus. This is also really beautiful with crab legs. Not too much butter. Great, great pairing. If you're going to do something like steak or pork, I am recommending, this is a Saint Cosme. It's a Côte du Rhône from the south of France. It is gorgeous. It's 100% Syrah. It's got some spiciness. It's got really nice tannins. It's just a really sexy wine.
Wow, that is a lot to take in, but a lot of really good information, because I know a lot of us say we're wine connoisseurs, but we really just like to drink it and we don't know how to pair it. So that is really good. Regine, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Cheers.
All right. Cheers to you too. Oh, I wish I had some in front of me. All right. If you want some more information, of course, you can check out Shall We Wine. You see her Instagram handles there, Twitter as well, and shallwewine.com. John.
All right, the only thing better than one wine is 3 wines or 5 wines. I'll tell you that much. All right, what's the most popular rom-com TV or movie in Illinois? Well, according to Google Trends.
It doesn't bother you that we haven't had sex in 5 days?
Hello.
Mad About You. That's from the pilot. I actually just watched this the other day. So I got to ask you guys, are you madly in love with rom-coms, or do they just make you mad? Felicia.
I love it. I love it. I love the feeling of love and falling in love. I love Mad About You. I love a lot of things. This is interesting. One thing I did notice about this, though, is I didn't see any J-Lo rom-coms. Like, J-Lo has a lot of rom-coms, and I expected to see them on the list, and I did not.
On the map.
You know, when you think of Wedding Planner, it should have been,
I thought you
been on the list.
Movies. I thought you hadn't seen any movies.
No,
like, you haven't seen J-Lo rom-coms?
No. Yeah, I'm saying that she is a queen of rom-coms. Should have been on the list.
Yeah.
Amy?
The list was so interesting too, because the cross between TV and movies, it's really different. Because like Mad About You, which I was a huge fan of, also is a sitcom, right? So it's like a situational comedy. It might not be considered a rom-com by a lot of people. Most rom-coms, I personally think, are of movies, but they are romantic comedies, which Mad About You actually is. So I get it. But I think it brought up some random ones that people were like, why is that on your list? You know?
Yeah. Crystal?
I consider myself queen of the rom-coms. That's the only genre. Whenever I sit down to watch a movie, I'm like, what do I really want to watch? It's a rom-com. And I have to say, some of my top rom-coms are mostly, like, if IMDb were to rate them, they're on the 6.5 to 7.
I feel like a bad one.
So they don't have to be 10 out of 10. That's the best thing about a rom-com. You don't need it to be a phenomenal movie. You just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Nah, bro.
Yeah,
John, you can't find it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of rom-coms. It's tough to think of ones I've actually enjoyed.
Shocker.
I hold the controversial opinion that most rom-coms rank near the bottom of all-time films in terms of like quality. But I can think like, is The Office a rom-com? Maybe that counts, right? Or or the classic film Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah and Jet Li. And wasn't DMX in that? Yeah.
I'm with you, Brandon. I think rom-coms are a waste of money, time, energy, whatever you're doing. Like, we know how it ends. They always end the same way. They take the exact same tropes. The exact same story for the most part.
That is so not true.
We're talking to the guy that watches Pokemon the movie and the historical documentary Boring Guy. They don't know.
Yeah.
At least there's suspense, action.
Yes, action, suspense. What's going to happen next?
Okay.
Not like, is it going to take 5 minutes or 10 minutes for her to get back with the guy that did the thing to him?
Exactly. So predictable. It's a formula.
You guys are missing romance in your life.
No. See, this is why it's all BS. It's all fake. It's not what real life and love is really all about. I think it presents a really terrible picture to our youth of what they should expect. And I think it actually sets them up for failure in relationships because they watch these rom-coms.
Did you not just say you were going to get a heart-shaped pizza for Valentine's Day? Isn't that the kind of rom-com-y?
No, because they don't do their taxes on Valentine's Day like I do in real life. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about Disney movies. Disney movies set our kids up.
Yeah, they really did. Hey guys, just ahead, something is brewing. Season 2 of Nancy Drew is off and running on CW 26.
Yeah, that's right. Brandon and I are catching up with the star and the sleuth of the show, Kennedy McMann. We're going to find out what spooks her and what surprises her on set and what might be in store for the show. More of the Jam when we come back.
All right, some news you need to know. The head of Chicago's police union has been stripped of his pay and charged with administrative misconduct charges. The Chicago Police Board now has 30 days to decide what to do with John Catanzara.
Chicago health officials may push back the start date for the next vaccination group, citing the city doesn't have enough and hope the feds can pull through soon with a delivery.
She did say, and we should preface that they are very optimistic they will get enough for that start. Until you get that vaccine, you better double up on that protection. Government researchers say wearing 2 masks is better than 1, potentially blocking 95% of infectious particles. John.
Well, we're 3 or 4, whatever it takes. Okay, 7-day forecast. We're going to have some snow tomorrow, but our warmest temperatures in a while. But wave goodbye to them as temperatures fall down even further. I mean, look at this weekend again. Sunday, a high of 5. Come on. Then we start to warm up. We thaw out to 23 by the middle of next week. This forecast brought to you by 3-Day Blinds. You'll love the treatment. Pope and Krista.
Everybody stay calm. It cannot find us if we're not afraid.
I mean, there's so much mystery when you're watching this show. Do you feel like that when you guys are shooting it? Are you ever spooked or scared in the moment?
You know, it's very different while you're filming it. It's like a way less cool. It's a lot of, X's on sticks and green screens and things like that. There have definitely been circumstances where I've been so sort of in a scene that I can't really remember what's going to happen because I'm really focusing, and I have been super spooked before at a jump scare that I absolutely knew was coming. So I have no excuse. But somebody's got that on tape somewhere.
How do you have the bandwidth for another mystery?
So Nancy Drew, a character that you have talked about before as being someone you're deeply connected with, she's all about solving mysteries. So I got to ask you, what is a trend going on right now that mystifies you? You're just like, why is this a thing?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question.
Something's drewing.
Something's drooling. I don't know. I'll have to think on that. I'll send you an email. I'll get back to you.
We are always looking for the internet sleuths to find out this, and that about somebody. So are you that go-to person in your friend group? Are the people always hitting you up to be like, Kennedy, I need to know this about this. Can you figure it out?
Oh yeah. I think I especially when I'm like really clicked in and when we're, in the middle of filming, I kind of am always, Nancy's so observant of everything. So I get really clicked into a place where I will remember every single word anybody's ever said. Like I feel like I could hear like 6 conversations at one time. And so when I'm filming, I'm definitely the go-to gal. I know the hot goss because I'm always listening.
You got all the gossip. That's what you got to watch out for then, because you know a little bit of everything.
It's true, but I never tell.
That's good. It means you're a good
key.
Friend. Well, Kennedy, thank you so much. Congratulations again on season 2. Really great show here. You can watch season 2 of Nancy Drew beginning tonight, 8 p.m. on CW 26.
Ooh, we love that hot goss. And we got more hot goss coming up because knitting, yeah, it's great that it made a comeback in the pandemic, but this luxury fashion brand, they just took it way too far. That's coming up in trending. We'll be right back.
Yeah, before we do, by the way, hot goss. Let's not make that a thing. That sounds really
it's
weird.
A thing. It's a thing, John.
Yeah, all right, it's already a thing. All right, here's some hot goss. Make sure to vote for Chicago Food to Go top choice. You can vote until Valentine's Day, and then tune in to Chicago Food to Go February 20th and 21st to see who the big winners are. More goss after this.
What?
Enough of me.
Wait, I'm sorry. We are doing this again? We are bringing this back? I totally missed it. Okay, it's ready.
Why didn't I get that dog?
You want to come hang?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, Krista asking and giving me an invite to hang with her and her dog. I'm a pass. We made some more time for this, guys. Black History Month trivia. Let us continue the game because we wanted to finish it, okay? So we're on our third question. Let's put it up. Our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter. A, Nelson Mandela. B, Frederick Douglass. C, Martin Luther King Jr. Who you got? Who you got?
Yes.
Okay, we got an A for Amy. A, C, A. Okay, the real answer is C.
Martin
Luther King Jr.
That was a
She
classic.
changed her answer.
Peer
She changed
pressure.
it.
I know. That's who said it. Okay, let's get our next one up there.
Okay.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. Was it Maya Angelou, Oprah Winfrey, or Whitney Houston? Okay, C. What's your answer, Brandon?
It's our girl.
C.
Oh, okay.
C.
I had to check with Brandon.
Yeah.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed.
All right, we don't got to sing the whole thing. I think we're good.
Okay, what's the next one? Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. Necessary trouble. Should be an easy one. Don't mess this up, guys.
Come on. Good trouble, everyone.
It's hard to say no. I got A.
Good job, everybody.
There we go.
Okay, do we have one more?
I like your eraser.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
We're smart enough to make these millions, strong enough to bear the children, then get back to business. Beyonce, Cardi B, or Queen Latifah?
I'm gonna.
Okay.
That's tough.
Okay, it's not that tough.
30 is a new mom.
The queen said it. The queen said it, guys. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's two queens up there. Okay, Queen B said it.
Queen Beyonce, yes.
Okay, last one. Relationships are like farting. If you push too hard, things could get messy real fast. Which huge comedian, a part of Black history. And you know, Richard Pryor set the stage for Eddie Murphy, who sets the stage for Kevin Hart. Really cool. Awesome comedians. Amy, you got an answer?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this one.
Oh, we got all of them.
Okay, the answer is A, Kevin Hart.
What?
Yes, but clearly some other notable comedians who are really amazing and a part of Black history. You guys stay with us as we continue to celebrate Black History Month all year long, all month long and all year long.
Well, year two. Let's give it the whole year.
I did it yesterday too, so.
You know what time it is. That's the music.
Yeah.
It's KG. It's time for the top 3 trending stories. And this is triggering that nostalgia, okay? To all my fellow fountain drink lovers, this is for you. McDonald's High C is coming back. And as you can see by this tweet, apparently if you want something to come back from McDonald's, just email their VP of marketing. Boom, you got it. All right, next one. From
Okay,
Lady,
by the way, it never went away. You could get it at the
Amy's
store.
got to say something.
Sorry, you could get it at the store. It didn't matter. It's not like it brought it back from the dead. Go ahead, sorry.
That's not a fountain drink.
Okay,
That's
Amy.
different coming out of a bottle than coming out of a fountain drink. Everyone knows that.
It does taste different. It does taste different. Like McDonald's Sprite. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Can we talk about Miss Queen Michelle Obama? She's coming to the streaming service Netflix for a children's cooking show. So she will play a supermarket owner in Waffles plus Mochi, and the show is about 2 puppets. And I am super stoked for this. It's going to stream at mid-March. I love anything Michelle Obama does. So yeah, I'll be tuning in.
Oh yeah.
And
yes, we do.
Cooking with puppets, huh? Yeah, wow.
My big old self's gonna be planted right there watching. That's for sure. I cannot wait. Me and the
kids. Is this like related to the Get
most
Moving campaign? No.
The most anti-Chicagoan thing ever. Just be quiet.
I love Michelle Obama, but I'm not watching a puppet show. Go ahead.
Cooking with kids. Got it.
Wow.
Well, if you guys want more puppets, I got more puppets for you because check this out. This is a new LV Louis Vuitton. They're getting slammed on social media for this jumper because it costs $8,000. And I blame the pandemic on this. I
played with puppets as a kid so much. My parents have a bin of puppets upstairs. I need to recreate this outfit. I'll sell it to you for $80. No problem.
There you go, John.
You know what? Brandon would buy that if it was Pokemon stitched to the outside of that sweater.
That's true.
If I had the money, yes, I would. 100%.
Now, Michelle Obama wore that when she cooked. I'd watch it. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
Bye, guys.